Okay. Test, test, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10! Sorry? I've got it down pretty low. I can bump it a little bit. But I think it'll be... They usually take yours as well. So I got to not put it too high. A little bit of static. Yeah. It might be because of my laptop. I can go battery power off the mixer. Is that any better? It is better, isn't it? Check, check, 1, 2. Test, test, 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Better? Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jack Edwards Reserve for a crucial clash in the NPL Victoria Finals race. It's the Oakley Cannons versus the Melbourne Knights. The Knights come into this game with a chance of climbing into the top 6, which looked unlikely just a couple of months ago. But since Ivan Franjic took over as head coach, 6 wins, 3 draws and 3 losses, he's been a breath of fresh air in charge, and the Knights have been on a tear. And with Dandenong City and Port Melbourne both dropping points last night, it gives them a golden chance. But they haven't beaten Oakley in their last 10 meetings. It's been a long time between drinks for the Knights against the Cannons. Their last win coming here at Jack Edwards back in February of 2019, where Hamish Watson scored a double. And for Oakley, they're balancing a congested fixture list. They'll have 6 games in the space of 3 weeks when they play Sydney FC on Tuesday and South Melbourne in the Doherty Cup final on Saturday. So Chris Taylor has been forced to rotate the squad, and they went down in a shock defeat to St Albans last week. 4 changes from that side for Oakley. Emlyn Wellsmore, Noah Holmes, Max Bissetto and Manib Adis all dropping to the bench. In come Connor Hampson and Alex Salmon from the Pine, as well as the return of Stefan Valentini and Cameron McGilp. Nick Feely retains his place in goals. In defence, Brodie Boyce, Jordan Hall and Jacob Tratt all continue. Oliver Kubalay and Kingsley Sinclair in the midfield, and Asad Kusumovic continues in the forward line. And for the Melbourne Knights, just one change from the side that defeated Altona Magic 2-1 in the last round. Joey Franjic drops out of the squad. Corey Sewell is back in the lineup. Chris Oldfield between the sticks. Ivan Franjic continues to be filling that player-coach role in the heart of a 3-man backline alongside Ben Carrigan and Tom Werndl. Thomas Karlovic will play on that right wing-back side with Sewell on the left. Jack Morton and Steve White in the midfield, a front line of Saif Eddin Saki, John Albano and Hatim Farr playing up front. Oakley in their all-blue. Kicking from left to right, Melbourne Knights in the grey change strip. My name is Josh Parrish, and it's a pleasure to have your company here on the NPL Victoria live stream. A huge weekend at the pointy end of the season. Oakley have named a very strong lineup despite that midweek clash coming against the A-League giant Sydney FC, the second time they faced them here. I think Oakley Cannons fans scarcely need reminding that the last time they played Sydney FC, they shocked the world, shocked the Australian football world at least, by beating them and making it to the Australia Cup semi-final. This is Valentini for Hampson. Hampson for McGill. The one notable name that is not in the starting lineup today is Joe Guest. He was on the bench last week. He's on the bench again today, I should say. As Asad Kusumovic fires in an early cross, and it's easily fielded by Oldfield. Joe Guest, one of the most prolific playmakers in the league. Tops it in all sorts of categories: assists, key passes. He's got 10 goals as well, which is... it takes some doing for a midfielder. See if they rely on him at some point today. Hatim Farr almost losing his footing on the wet turf. Seems like the rain has died off slightly, although fans here all taking shelter in the grandstand on the near side. With construction going on in the background, there's a new grandstand in the offing at Jack Edwards on the far side. A careless turnover from Asad Kusumovic. The Knights slow things down. This is Morton. Gets it back from White. Ivan Franic playing quarterback in the heart of that back three. And Boyce heads back to Nick Feely. On the bench for Oakley today, Brendan White, Joe Guest, Manibatis, Max Bassetto, Noah Holmes and Emlyn Wellsmore as the Knights win it back high up the park. And could this be an opportunity here for Saki? Looking for the back post, and Brodie Boyce had the aerial advantage over John Albano. On the Knights bench today, we'll just stay with play for a moment as Alex Salmon looks to chase down an ambitious long ball, but it's kick to kick between the goalkeepers. Jacob Wiseman is the backup custodian. Mitch Hoare and Kieran Bramwell, who've started most games this season for the Knights, continue to ride the pine. Bramwell with 12 goals to his name, but can't crack the starting lineup since the arrival of Hatim Farr. John Mabok and Jeffrey Lino make up a very attacking bench for the Knights, with Anton Primoratz, the young midfielder, coming into the squad. Wendell. And to Sewell. Wendell, such a versatile player. He was playing left wing back last week. He's on the left side of the back three this time around. That's Jacob Trass, former A-League player with some experience and repute. What a mid-season acquisition he's been for Oakley when they were truly desperate in their defensive stocks. Now they overfloweth with Jordan Hall and Brodie Boyce now forced to play out of position at right back, but it's an embarrassment of riches where previously the cupboard was very, very bare. Connor Hampson now back available playing at left back, so conceivably 4 players who could play a role in the heart of defence if they're required. One of the days of Noah Holmes having to be a square peg in a round hole, the midfielder. It was that disastrous afternoon at Green Gully Reserve a few weeks ago when Oakley lost 3 defenders, 3 key players I should say, to injury in the space of the first half, and required some mid-season investment. So in come Hall and Trapp from the A-League systems. Jordan Hall has been primarily a backup at Melbourne City. Got his first foray in NPL Victoria. That's where he made his name, with Green Gully. And Oldfield gets his foot through that. Clear the danger. Well, a huge opportunity for Oakley this afternoon as Heidelberg and Hume City shared the spoils on Friday night. Really the ideal result. Oakley couldn't have drawn it up any better. They have the opportunity today with a convincing win to vault both those teams into 3rd place on the table. A more narrow result will put them level with Hume City. The goal difference between them, Hume has a 2-goal advantage. Valentini unsuccessful with that attempted dribble. He is the most prolific dribbler in the competition. 6.7 successful dribbles per game, which puts him clear of Saif Saki in second. Oh, that's a good touch from Salmon, but the help defender came across in Werndl and cleared the danger for the Knights. Still the attack goes on, but McGill sees his pass picked off by Carrigan. And the chance is on now for Saki to make something happen in the forward line. Stops and props and goes back to Karlovic. The Knights prioritising possession as a means to release a bit of pressure as much as anything. Haven't looked to make this game a end-to-end basketball style affair, as it often is at Jack Edwards. Saki across the box, headed away. And now Hatim Farr with a snapshot on the turn, and Jacob Tratt is in the way. Off McGill, not an intentional back pass, and Nick Feely can take his time over this. Elects to start short with Hall. No real chances of note so far. Both teams still feeling each other out in these early stages. Oh, that's a short back pass. And it nearly cost the Knights. Chris Oldfield was sprawling. Alex Salmon wasn't far away at all. Shot across the bow. Salmon. Boyce nutmegs Albano with the pass. Kubalay out to Salmon again, who tries to lift it in behind. Plenty of cover in central defence for the Knights in that new formation. And Ivan Franic has been superb so far. A couple of key interventions just in that passage of play. Werndl. Kasumovic sliding in. It took an extra touch off Werndl. It's going to be an Oakley corner. And Kingsley Sinclair will come across to take it. So no Joe Guest, their usual set-piece wizard. Let's see what Oakley can produce without their main man in the lineup. Hampson is the target. It's over his head. Now Valentini. Take it wide and try and lift it. Cannons into the first man, and Oakley will settle for another corner. Sinclair again. The back post for Tratz, and then Oldfield passes it firmly in his gloves. Like the header took a deflection, which took the sting out of it. Saki. Morton dribbled into trouble, and Salmon comes away with possession. Valentini, a tangle off the ball involving Franic. And no whistle. So Oakley will have a third corner. Sinclair, nice shape on it. Hampson's in there. Knights do enough to clear the danger. Albano. White, very composed. Albano. Jacob Tratt anxious to avoid the booking. But it might cost Oakley here if Hatim Farr can keep this alive. He can. Albano. Oakley with numbers back now. Sewell. Flag stays down for Albano. Really strong tackle from Cam McGill. Such a savvy operator in midfield, with and without the ball. Hall. Boyce. Sinclair. Kasumovic. Now Kubalay. Oh, Kubalay almost split the defence. And sliding in was Corey Sewell. It's that sort of weather. Expect to see plenty of sliding tackles in the wet today as the rain picks up again. Boyce. Salmon offering short. Kasumovic. Ivan Franic cleaning things up again at the heart of defence. Sewell turned it over. Oakley win a throw. Sinclair. Boyce. Kubalay with the captain's armband today. Takes it down on his chest. McGill for Boyce to cross. And then Salmon strikes it goalwards. And it's well saved. Maybe the best chance of the game so far. Alex Salmon looking the most likely. Connor Hampson making life difficult for the Melbourne Knights. But it is well defended. Now Steve White breaking clear. Hatim Far strayed beyond the last defender. And it's a really good offside trap from Jordan Hall in particular, who picked the perfect moment to push up. Kubalay for Sinclair. Boyce. Ships it into the channel, asking a lot of Sinclair, who slides and avoids the goal kick at least. Oh, the Knights have such a rotten record of late against Oakley. 6 defeats. 4 draws in their last 10 meetings in all competitions. 3 losses and 2 draws in their last 5. A win today would be a major milestone for the Knights. Oakley have looked more likely to open the scoring so far. Boyce heads down to Kasumovic. South Australia knocked it inboard, but Alex Salmon wasn't on the same wavelength. Saki. Morton. Franic using Karlovic. That's a really good bit of distribution. He gets Knights much further up the pitch now. This is a more comfortable spot for them, where they like to get their short passes going and try and tease a way through the heart of the opposition backline. Strung together about 24 passes to open the scoring against Manningham. Scored a few spectacular team goals as Thomas Karlovic sees his effort repelled from range. Yet to score for the Knights. That would have been a spectacular way to open your account. Hampson. It's going to be handball against Carrigan. Now the 19-year-old Tom Karlovic called up into first team action. He's been on the periphery all season, on the bench. Not seeing too many minutes, but just in the last couple of weeks has broken into the first team, and it's fantastic to see the Knights' tradition of giving their own young players a go is continuing. Salmon to cross. Sinclair was too hot to handle for the Kiwi. Weiss. Oh, brilliant feint. It's the little things with Steve White. Just the shape of the body, giving the defender the eyes. Meanwhile, Carrigan's turned it over to Salmon. And away comes Valentini. And Ivan Franic using all his years of experience to anticipate where Valentini was taking that one. Going to beat Steph for pace, but first yard is in the cranium, as they say. Salmon, back to McGill. Trap forced to run that one down, and Oakley lose ground and momentum. Maybe they can draw out this Knights defensive unit. I don't seem particularly interested in closing down Oakley's centre-backs. At least not until over the halfway line. McGill exchanging passes with Valentini. Oakley trying to pick a route through. Kubalay. Salmon. Albano doing a great job tracking back. So, seems as if Ivan Franic has designed this system with his play coaching role in mind. He's in the middle. He can dish out the instructions and dictate play. It's an arrowed switch, which is too much for Corey Sewell to have a hope of running down. Hampson for Trash. It's been a chess match so far. Alex Salmon with the two best chances. Really half chances in truth. Kubalay waits for the run of Kasumovic. Opportunity to cross early. Franic stretching and doing superbly well. Oldfield boots it clear. Good use of the body by Saif Saki. And there's a chance in transition for the Knights here as he goes past Trats. The goal was gaping. Brody Boyce knocked it skyward, and then the punch from Feely and the effort from range. Well, it fell to the perfect man in Steve White, but he couldn't control it. He's got a sweet left foot, Steve White. He'll be disappointed with that. Would have taken something quite spectacular. But he is a technician and a free kick specialist from that sort of range, so you'd expect more. Well, Saki in flashes, looking dangerous down the right-hand side. Hasn't seen a heap of the ball so far, but when he has, things look more promising for Karatsia. McGill, Kasumovic, Sinclair for Kasumovic, and then Franic sliding in, and Kasumovic settles for the corner. Seems as if this Knights defence is being held together by Ivan Franic at the moment. A number of last-ditch blocks and interceptions. Sinclair's corner. Jacob Tratt, an obvious target. It's Connor Hampson to attack it. And he couldn't connect, and there's an infringement spotted by the referee. An offside flag up there, perhaps. In fact, I think the corner curved out of play before it came back in, which is the danger with an outswinger. Difficult here as the benches obscure the linesman, so we can't see the flags. Hatim Far across goal. And now Saki takes over. Saki past Hampson and lashes it in from the angle. Trapp came across to cover in time. Well, Saif Saki is giving Connor Hampson a really tough time this afternoon, and it seems only a matter of time. If he can keep getting the ball in those situations, the Knights will make something happen from them. Great cover from Tratt. The Frenchman to take the corner. That's gone out of play, despite Franich's best efforts. Wow. Crossed wise there between McGill and Boyce. It's a cheap turnover. Wendell. Oldfield. Oh, Wendell lost his footing. And the Oakley press produces another mistake. Something they're really good at, Oakley. They hunt for the ball in packs. Force errors from the opposition. I think the conditions had a part to play there. Sinclair. No one attacking it. Ben Carrigan able to clear the danger. Jordan Hall heads it back. Hatim Far leading a one-man Knights press. And it's easy enough for Oakley to get it out of that situation and back on the front foot. Jordan Hall. Boyce. And now Kubalay. Salmon dropping deep. Oakley prompting and probing for a way through. Hampson's in space on the left. And Sinclair finds him. Hampson sets himself to cross, and Kasumovic should have done more with that. The header flashes wide. A golden chance goes begging for Oakley. It was really well created. Patient build-up play. Found Hampson as the free man down the left-hand side. Perfect delivery. He thought it was on a platter for Asad Kasumovic to open the scoring. The South Australian couldn't make significant enough contact and glances it wide. It should be 1-0 Oakley in truth. Frontage. Carrigan. Frontage. Turns it over, and now Valentini bursting through. It's Stefan Valentini from the angle. And his options closed in front of him very quickly. Oakley corner, which Alex Salmon's going to take. In fact, he's going to leave it for Kingsley Sinclair. Can Oakley find the breakthrough? Not this time. Lashed into the ground, and then it spills to Tratt, who took a slightly heavy touch, and Steve White stole it off his toe. Albano. Top defending from McGill. Ambitious appeal for the throw, but it was just superb one-on-one technique. Sewell getting decent distance off it. And Hatim Far can't be offside from the throw. Now Saki, still Saif Saki! What a block from Kubalay. Ollie Kubalay to the rescue out of nowhere. Well, it was a big shout for a penalty after the coming together at the near post. The ball fell to Saif Saki. And that one looked goal bound. Sure, it will sting tomorrow, but Oli Kubalay wearing the captain's armband has come up with something absolutely crucial for the Cannons. Very brave defending indeed. Franic to take an in-swinging corner. Huge chances at both ends. Franic, a palm from Feely away. Saki. Then Sewell. And Hampson half cleared as far as Saki. Flashes across goal. And Ben Carrigan had to crane his neck for that one and never looked likely of directing it on target. Well, half an hour played almost, and it's been a very watchable last 10 minutes or so as both sides begin to find ways to open up the opposition. Glorious chances for Asad Kasumovic and Saif Edin Saki. One header flashed wide. One goal-bound shot, which was struck with venom and fury from Saki's left boot. Looked to be 1-0, but for a heroic Oli Kubalay block. Valentini. Away by Franic. Weiss. Albano. Werndl. And now Jordan Hall heads back to his keeper. McGill. Oh, McGill, lovely weighted ball, and Valentini just strayed the wrong side. Well, there would have been inches in that. Franic forward. Jordan Hall. Brody Boyce now. Oh, lovely footwork from Boyce. And now Salmon. As Kasumovic has the runner out wide. It's across the box. Valentini attacking it. And couldn't get there in time, was just a step or two short. Hampson. Oh, Sinclair let it run. Now the header from Sinclair. It's smashed clear by Carrigan. Feely having to leave his area. Werndl. Tommy Werndl finds John Albano down the left. Albano. Oh, brilliant challenge from Boyce. Sprawling tackle that gave Albano nowhere to go. Kasumovic. Sinclair, neatly done. Little back heel from Salmon and almost found McGill. Oh. Collision in the 50-50 with Werndl and Salmon off the ball. Meanwhile, here goes Valentini. Karlovic. Valentini left something on Karlovic there, but the referee waves for advantage. And Saki dribbles straight into Cam McGill. It's probably the wrong opponent to try that one on. Sinclair. Kubalay. Hampson. McGill. Salmon, first time out to Valentini. It's a decent cross off his left boot, but Ivan Franic in the way again. This match is so delicately poised at the moment. One mistake, one moment of brilliance away from 1-0 at either end. I'd say Oakley have edged it on the balance of play. Another set-piece chance for the Cannons. Sinclair whips it into the near post. And it's come off a blue shirt last. Referee Oga Arslan pointing for a goal kick. Get the Knights set up for a short one, but I feel like that's just inviting the Oakley press. And Ivan Franic and Chris Oldfield quickly reconsider that plan. Thumped upfield by Oldfield. Header won by Valentini, who gets it back off Sinclair. Big boots to fill for Kingsley Sinclair today, playing in the number 10 role with Joe Guest rested. Although he's on the pine if Oakley require him. McGill. Kubalay. Sinclair helped it on. And it's well fielded by Chris Oldfield. It can be really tough for some of these teams who make it through to the Doherty Cup final and the Australia Cup round of 32. All these fixtures seem to pile up at once. That's him far. The Frenchman, signed in the mid-season window, looks to the referee for some relief, but never looked likely of drawing the free kick he was after. Salmon, so good at dropping off the front line and receiving the ball with his back to goal. But Melbourne Knights are alive to that danger, and he gets followed wherever he goes. Kubalay. Ollie Kubalay for Kingsley Sinclair. Kasumovic. He was brought down by Morton. Had a little nibble at the ankle there from behind. And Asad Kasumovic wins a free kick for Oakley. In really promising territory. And with no Joe Guest, it's perhaps a chance for Alex Salmon to try his luck. Four in the wall for the Knights. Can Salmon go around the wall? 11 goals this season. Can he add a 12th here? It's Salmon, and it takes a big deflection and in! A slice of fortune for the Oakley Cannons. But on the balance of play, they have earned that lead. And Chris Oldfield was left absolutely stranded as the ball strikes the wall. And lofts harmlessly and helplessly into the empty net. Now Oakley have their tails up and they've won it high up the pitch. And here comes Valentini, the slide from Carrigan. Just a corner. Well, it was struck really sweetly by Alex Salmon, but I think you have to put that down as a very fortuitous opening goal. Sinclair. Hampson rising highest and heading over the crossbar. Now we'll have to get someone into the building site again to fetch that one. Oh, what a costly foul that was from Jack Morton. Kasumovic had a player between him and the goal. He was well marshalled, and it was just a bit of an ill-disciplined nibble at the ankle, which drew the referee's whistle. Werndl tracked it all the way in the air. Whites. Sewell and Albano. Knights need a response, preferably before half-time. Sewell. Whites. Boyce. McGill. And the referee thought for a long time about that one, eventually awarding the free kick to McGill. He takes it quickly in search of Valentini. Well done, Thomas Karlovic. McGill is just so adept at drawing fouls. Salmon cuts it back for Kubalay, helps it on towards Valentini, who set wide, has Hampson on the overlap, and it's just overcooked, the pass from Valentini. Another promising Oakley move comes to nothing, but you can see the tension fade and the confidence rise in these Cannons players after Alex Salmon's free kick struck the wall and deflected, looped past Chris Oldfield in the Melbourne Knights goal. Ball, dangerous header, fell for John Albano for a moment, but Jacob Tratt cleans things up at the back. It's punted downfield by Feely. Not the first time he's kicked it all the way to Chris Oldfield, but better safe than sorry. Steve Weiss. Well defended by Boyce. Werndl. Great switch of play out to Karlovic. Out to Saki, I should say. Far, thought he was held. That's away supporters less than impressed. Sinclair. Now Oakley on the break through Kasumovic. He's got Salmon in the middle and he's overhit it. Well, it was the right idea from Sad Kasumovic, the early cross. It's exactly what strikers want. It's just a yard or two off the mark. Hatim Far continuing to plead his case with the referee on the halfway line. Hampson. Saki. Carrigan lifts it up the line. Picked off by Kubalay, who finds Kasumovic. Asad Kasumovic goes down. And no spot kick ensues. Well, Tom Werndl breathes a sigh of relief. Sewell telegraphed it. It's picked off by Boyce. Just too heavy for Salmon. Well, the Knights have been pretty disciplined and pretty competitive in this one, but it's just seemed like a matter of time until Oakley scored. And that's a poor challenge on McGilt from Sewell. And referee thought about advantage for a while, but given the pace of the attack slowed to such an extent, he will bring it back for a free kick. Taken quickly by McGilt. Kasumovic across the box. And Stefan Valentini didn't gamble on it. Surprised not to see Stefan Valentini sliding in there. He was just a step late and didn't see it coming. Oh, Salmon sliding in hard on Albano, and he won the ball cleanly. Boyce. Tratt. Chips it out to Hampson. Hampson to the near post. Franich unopposed and will step on the ball and take his time here. Hampson continues the press as Steve White, well, he's always cool in those situations. Carrigan. Weiss. Kasumovic sliding. 1 minute to be added at the end of this first half. So McGilt skips away from the challenge. Looks for Salmon. Werndl in the way. Saki. Oh, brilliant from Saki as he sidesteps Connor Hampson and goes at Tratz. Inside Kubalay. Saki finding Albano on the left. Albano went for the selfless option, and Jacob Trapp digs it out. And Oakley can go the other way. Kasumovic has to take on his man here, and Steve White, the extra defender, coming across. Karlovic tried to slide it through. Well, it was exactly the sort of game that Knights were trying not to get sucked into, but Oakley do what Oakley do. And they have the advantage as Urquhart Arslan brings the first half to a close. Alex Salmon with the only goal, a deflected free kick that looped past a stranded Chris Oldfield. They've been pretty good value for their lead. A massive chance for Asad Kasumovic and many, many half chances that haven't quite connected. Now, Melbourne Knights, their best opportunity came through Saif Saki. But a heroic block from today's Oakley captain, Ollie Kubalay, denied the Frenchman, and the Knights failed to trouble the scorers in this first 45. We'll take a short break here. A crucial tussle for the finals placings here in NPL Victoria. The halftime score at Jack Edwards Reserve is Oakley Cannons 1, Melbourne Knights 0. Oakley Cannons 1, Melbourne Knights 0, coming back from half-time. Welcome back to the NPL Victoria live stream. And the Knights have made a half-time change. Thomas Karlovic, the young defender, making way. Mitch Hoare into the side. And it looks as if that will prompt a tactical reshuffle for Ivan Franic's boys. Going from the back three they played in the first half to perhaps a back four from the looks of things, with Franic moving out to the right-hand side. And Mitch Hoare providing an extra number in midfield. Well, the Knights need to find an answer, and it may come in the form of that tactical switch. Trailing to an Alex Salmon goal. Deflected free kick that looped past the luckless Chris Oldfield. Mitch Hoare heavily involved already, and Hatim Farr is teeing up Saif Saki, who skied his chance. Well, there's glorious build-up play from the Knights. Very neat interchange of passes, and Saki just couldn't keep the shot down. Instant impact coming out of half-time, and perhaps it should have been 1-1. Silky stuff from the Melbourne Knights. That was their best move of the game. It came in the opening minutes of the second half. No-nonsense clearance. Hampson to take the resulting throw. Valentini is double-teamed here in the corner. And Franic gets a foot in. Oakley corner. Josh Parrish here behind the mic. Pleasure to bring you this action live on behalf of NPL Victoria and Sportscast. And as things stand, Oakley Cannons will vault into a home finals place. Sinclair whips it in near post. A second goal for Oakley would draw them level with Hume City on goal difference. Oh, it's Hampson in there. And the last touch was off an Oakley player. Jack Morton doing enough defensively. That trio of Heidelberg, Hume and Oakley are just neck and neck at the moment. No one can really separate themselves. Third and fourth place will get a home elimination final. If you can crack the top two and make your way past Avondale, then a week off and free passage through to our home semi-final. But one thing at a time for the Cannons, who have such a congested fixture list. If they can finish in third or fourth place, I think that will set them up well enough for finals. This could be a finals preview if the Knights continue their good run of form after the coaching change. Ben Suri replaced by player coach Ivan Franic, who's been pretty successful since he's come in and has turned the season around. And the faltering fortunes of Port Melbourne ahead of them on the table have led the Knights back up into finals contention, but unless they win today, they still won't be in the top six. Kubalay picking off Franic's short square pass. Salmon putting Carrigan under pressure here. And Carrigan does really well to win the throw. The stakes are clear for both these sides. Oakley with a meeting against Sydney FC coming on Tuesday night. They've got one eye on that fixture, so we haven't seen any of Joe Guest this afternoon. You can bet your bottom dollar that if the Knights find an equaliser, Joe Guest will be on sooner rather than later. Werndl. Sewell wraps his right boot around it. Boyce in the way. Kasumovic did enough to shield it from Sewell, and then Mitch Hoare puts it into touch. Well, Hatim Farr, the new signing from France, from La Roche. has displaced the informed Kieran Bramwell from that central striking position. Bramwell with 12 goals this season, but sitting on the bench today. Hampson finding Salmon, who throws the step over and jinks his way past Carrigan. Oh, Kasumovic was free at the far post, and Alex Salmon couldn't find him. The attack's still alive for the Cannons. McGilt for Salmon! He wasn't far away from the top corner there, Alex Salmon. Really well struck from range. You could see him lining it up a mile off. Chris Oldfield was at full stretch and may well have denied him if the shot had been on target, but still a spectacular try from the Englishman. Frontage. Morton breaking from midfield. Tratt's header is short. And then Mitch Hoare tries to curl one. Too many bodies in the way. Sinclair. Salmon. Making it back to Jordan Hall. Oh, and Sewell had to gamble and got there. Kasumovic was just waiting for the ball to break down the right for him. But Corey Sewell had the reach to get a foot in. Oh, two massive chances for Saif Saki today. Could have been a different story for the Knights. So Salmon and Kubalay combining to win the ball high. Franich off the outside of the boot, only as far as Boyce. That ferocious Oakley press bearing fruit again. Meanwhile, Nick Feely is going to have to pump this one upfield. Sewell. His header drops to Boyce. McGilt for Oakley. Valentini involved. Hampson back to Tratt. The Knights trying to hem Oakley in. Oh, brilliant from Kubalay. Salmon with the volley. Came off Kubalay's back. Kingsley Sinclair was scrambling, but his standing foot came out from underneath him. Tratt. Flicked on by Kubalay. Now Salmon, who's been so busy in so many different areas of the pitch today. Popped up on the left flank. Hampson faults the challenge of Steve White, but Jack Morton had his back. No way past Kubalay for Saif Saki. Valentini's popped up in midfield. Valentini for Sinclair. Still Kingsley Sinclair. Clipped up to the 6-yard box, and Salmon is brilliantly denied. Chris Oldfield showing why he's still one of the top goalkeepers in NPL Victoria. A terrific reflex save from point-blank range. And Alex Salmon, 9 times out of 10, is burying those sorts of chances. Terrific cross from Sinclair. Salmon had to generate all his own power. Sinclair, Hampson rising. And Sinclair couldn't keep it in for the second chance. Such a good stop from Oldfield. The NPL veteran. Englishman was a Liverpool Academy player. Once called into first team training by Rafa Benitez. He's had a long and successful career here in Victoria. Wendell. Mitch Haw. Frontage. Hampson. Kubalay. McGill. Down the line for Sinclair. Sinclair and now Salmon. More, it's Hatim Far rather. It's dropped well off the front line and gets the better of McGilk that time. Sewell, first time pass from Mitch Haw. Couldn't quite connect with the run of Hatim Far. Haw. Morton. Saki, the Knights moving the ball far more confidently now. Saki, and then the first time strike from Albano was always rising. Well, another promising chance carved out by the Melbourne Knights. Albano generated all the power in the swerve, but not the accuracy. Great leap from Valentini. Sinclair has time to turn and assess his options. He chooses Asad Kasumovic. Deflection on that ball in field. Salmon will bring it down. Hampson providing the width from left fullback, and Carrigan came across to block. Saki with the interception. Haw. Morton. Albano with the eyes up to spot White. And then Saki, and he's got Franich bursting forward with him. Saki for Ivan Franich. The shot blocked en route. And it's come off a teammate. Disappointing there. As Mitch Haw inadvertently got in the way of Ivan Franic's strike. Salmon just throwing his weight around and earning the ire of referee Ergar Arslan. Why, saw hospital pass. Can Oakley make them pay? Kasumovic faults the challenge of Morton, slides it through for Sinclair. Sinclair was the wrong side of the last defender. Quickly taken free kick from the goalkeeper. Steve White appealing for a free kick, but the Knights come forward in possession anyway. Far. Morton couldn't return the favour. Kubalay. Boyce. Ollie Kubalay has given it away to Sewell, and now Albano. And Saki has Franich on the overlap. He showed too much of the ball to Connor Hampson. Down the line for Valentini. The crowd urging Valentini to take on his man. Early ball in field, and Salmon wasn't quite on the same page. It's end to end now. As Albano bursts through one tackle and can't find a way past Jordan Hall. Hampson. Valentini wanted earlier service than he got. There's a bit of bickering going on between the Oakley players of late. It's been much more positive from the Knights in this second half. A lot more field position and territory. One big chance came in the opening minute. Have to bide their time though. With an hour played at Jack Edwards reserve. Carrigan, Franich. Miscontrolled by Saki. Knights have already made one change. I feel like Oakley would be thinking about one at this point. Valentini. McGill. Looks like Kieran Bramwell will be summoned. Could be the Knights who make their second change before Oakley have decided to alter things. Tratz, Valentini, Hampson, Salmon. Oh, brilliant footwork from Alex Salmon. To beat two defenders all ends up. The nutmeg was the cherry on the cake. But the move comes to nothing. Silky stuff from the Englishman. And the Knights will make that change. It could be an early end to the afternoon for Hatim Farr. Looks pretty dejected as he leaves the field. Just one goal since he's joined the club. Shown flashes today, but turned to the more proven NPL Victoria goal scorer in Kieran Bramwell, who has 12 to his name this season. Former Perth Glory youngster. Boys to take the throw. Goes back to Kubalay. Jordan Hall wrong foots Asad Kasumovic. Maybe Hatim Farr has a problem. He's going down the tunnel now. Franich, was he fouled? Yes. Did seem as if Cam McGill got a piece of the Socceroos veteran. Valentini objecting to where the free kick was going to be taken from. I think he was right. The infringement was a little further back, but Always a bit of a risk when you stand in front of the free kick like that and kick the ball away. Boyce. McGill. Kasumovic. First time on to Sinclair. Now Salmon. This is very nice from Oakley indeed. And they open up the left-hand side of the pitch. Valentini. Salmon. Sinclair. Oh, they almost were through on goal there, Oakley. It's a lovely move. Boyce, Salmon. Back to Brodie Boyce. Knocks it across the area, but only Steve White waiting on the penalty spot, and then McGill curls one wildly off target. And Oakley will call upon Joe Guest here. Main man coming on to replace Stefan Valentini, who missed last week's defeat to St Albans. And Ollie Kubalay lobs in the armband, so Oakley have their captain, their talisman, back on the park. So they look to make the 3 points safe. Tratt. Franic. Bit of a suspicious throw from Ivan Franic. Hall. Guess. And then Franic sliding in. He's certain it should be a Knights ball. Leading to anyone who'll listen, but it's going to be Oakley's throw. Hampson for Guest. Hampson lobs it forward. Kubalay. Sinclair now playing on the left-hand side of the attack. The ever-versatile Kingsley Sinclair, who's played both full-back positions, both wings, and even in midfield. Terrific switch of play. Sewell for Albano. Wonder. Jack Morton. It's overcooked for Franic. Well, time is just slowly trickling away on the Knights. They've had enough of the ball in this half to suggest they should be creating a few more chances than they have. It's a big opportunity for Saif Saki very early on, and then Albano blazed one over from the edge of the box. Oakley have held firm. Saki has the beating of Hampson, and then he's around the outside of Tratt. Saki across the box, it's an own goal! Jordan Hall deflects it beyond his own goalkeeper, and the Knights are level. But Saif Edin Saki will take the plaudits. It was a superb solo run. Sidesteps Connor Hampson. He was too quick for Jacob Tratt. And there was nothing much that Jordan Hall could do about that one. Well, just when the Knights needed a moment of inspiration, Saif Saki obliged. He's looked the most likely all afternoon for the visiting Knights. And finally, it's not his goal, but it may as well have been. Franic gets a shove in the back. Made sure the referee knew about it. Well, this one's set for a grandstand finish. Last 20 minutes here at Jack Edwards, and the game is absolutely anyone's. Oakley have unleashed Joe Guest. Kieran Bramwell's on the park for the Knights. And the firepower is all on the park here. On this wet and wild afternoon in Victoria. In Melbourne southeast. Oakley. Shanked off the right boot of Franich. Anywhere will do. Draw doesn't do either team much good. Imagine both teams would be absolutely going for it. It's Guests. Sinclair's cross. It's going to drop for Salmon to strike. And he didn't catch it cleanly. He had quite a lot of space there, Alex Salmon. Silky touch from Tratt. Usually the flashiest player, but it's a classy move from the A-League veteran. Tratt again. Coolly done. Sinclair. Hampson. Curls it into the path of Joe Guest, who lashed it across the 6-yard box. And Ben Carrigan just getting in front of Kasumovic. Good zonal defending from the former Melbourne victory man. Hampson, Guest, Sinclair, and Sewell heads away from danger. Sinclair. Hampson contesting it. This attempted volley from Kasumovic, snuffed out. Away comes Saki. Let's come back off the Frenchman. Kublai. Jordan Hall now. Sun just starting to peek through the clouds at Jack Edwards. Kublai exchanging passes with Sinclair. And then rolling it into the feet of Guest. Showed too much of it to Carrigan. And now it's Saki again, who's left Kublai in the dust. Still safe, Saki. Well, I think that was an attempted pass rather than a shot on goal. But it just didn't quite come off the outside of the boot like he intended. Looks to be running on fumes now. Hampson asking a lot of Salmon. Morton out muscle. McGilt for Hampson. Hampson's cross! And Oldfield was collected. Brave goalkeeping indeed as he got a fist to the ball before Asad Kasumovic came barrelling in. And apologies forthcoming from number 47. He's been good again today, Chris Oldfield. Left in the lurch for the goal with that nasty deflection, but come up with a couple of big stops. Saki going to ground. Oakley felt he had a hold on Connor Hampson as well, but Coachman is a very canny operator who's played in cutthroat world of European football. Yes, just a telegraphed pass for Carrigan to run in and intercept. Not quite shaking off the rust here, Joe Guest. He was on the bench last week against St Albans as well. Mitch Hall with a nice turn. Steve White with Kasumovic hot on his heels. Franich lofts it towards Bramwell. Jordan Hall's header, and then Kubalay. Did well to get past Mitch Hall. McGill. Sinclair has to double back. Sinclair for Guest. Got past one tackle, but no way past Franich. It's getting physical out there. Physical indeed as Brody Boyce brings down John Albano. Night supporters baying for a booking. And Sinclair will shield this one over the line. Salmon, Hampson. Saki. Going at Hampson again. Is he collected? No. Just had his body going one way and the ball going the other. On full afternoon glare. Oakley are looking for a way in front again. Salmon. Boyce. To the top of the box. There's a flag up here against Asad Kasumovic. He can't quite believe it. The Knights with the quick restart. It's been played at a frenetic pace these last few minutes. Mitch Hall. Morton for Sewell. Now Albano. It's had a rather quiet afternoon. No way through for him. McGill. Can McGill again. Here's Kasumovic. They've worked their way through the Knights' press. Still Asad Kasumovic. Joe Guest waiting for it. Guest lobs it to the back post. Salmon across goal, and there's no telling touch at the far post. Oh, Joe Guest and Alex Salmon just have that near telepathic connection, but they needed a third man runner in there. Oh, flashy back heel from Sewell. Came to nothing. Whites. Salmon had a nibble at his ankles. Albano is going to be offside here. Wendell. Carrigan heads back to the goalkeeper. Now it's forward to Bramwell. Bramwell did well to hold it up, but he couldn't find a teammate as Cam McGill was retreating. Bramwell hasn't had much service since he's come on. Franich. This one on a knife edge now. Saki. Tom Werndl attacking the empty space in front of him. And he was looking for John Albano. Really good defending from Boyce. McGill keeps it under pressure. Kubalay. Guest, let it run. And then Franich slides in. Saki dives out of the way. This is Albano. Kusumovic. Great defensive work rate from him to win the ball back, and now he reaps the rewards. The early cross is intercepted by Werndl. Deflects out to Guest. Oakley building. Getting numbers in the box now. Forced to recycle across the back line. Hampson's holding his width out here on the left. They'll try it down the right again. Or Pierce through the middle, through Alex Salmon. And that's off Werndl's back. Salmon hasn't been shy to have a shot. He's one of the most prolific goal scorers and highest shots per game ratios of any player in the league. Oh, it's a mistake here from the Knights as Kubalay wins it high. And then Kusumovic across to Kubalay! Oakley lead again! And they pounce on the Knights' error with all the ruthless precision that we've come to associate with Chris Taylor's Oakley Cannons. Well, Ollie Kubalay doesn't score many, but when he does, they tend to be crucial goals. Scored the winner against South Melbourne at Lakeside. And he's come up big today. Started with careless turnover. So many of Oakley's goals seem to. They force those mistakes. And it was Ollie Kubalay who won the ball and then burst into the box, just absolutely busted a gut to get to the far post and reap the rewards. It's his tireless work rate and reading of the game that makes him one of the premier defensive midfielders in this competition. And that goal is worth its weight in gold. Saki was being held, getting into a bit of a wrestling match and a tangle with Connor Hampson. That's been a key duel all afternoon. Saki has looked the most likely of any Knights player to open up the Oakley backline. He's done it once, forcing the own goal off Jordan Hall, and he's won a crucial free kick here. As the Knights fall behind again. They turn to their captain, coach, Ivan Franich. It's Emlyn Wellsmore who's getting ready to come on for the home side. Franich's delivery, Feely off his line. It's fallen fortuitously for Joe Guest here. And Oakley open up the Knights in transition again. Salmon, well, he's denied anyway by Chris Oldfield, but the flag was already up. Wellsmore is going to replace Connor Hampson, who's had a tough old time dealing with save Saki today. Only just returning to the starting lineup. Well, in fact, it was just for a few words of advice from the assistant coach. Instead, it's going to be Asad Kasumovic who comes off. He's come up with a crucial assist. And played his part today. Sinclair will go to the right. Wellsmore on the left-hand side of the attack. Those two ever versatile wide men provide a little bit of extra defensive cover for their fullbacks in these final 5 minutes plus stoppages. Kubalay. Wellsmore with his first touch off the bench. McGill. Wellsmore back to Cam McGill. Hampson. McGill rolls it down the line for Wellsmore. And it's cut back towards Joe Guest. Oh, Ivan Franic did well again. But it looks to be just slipping away from the Knights at the moment. They worked so hard to find an equaliser, but it's all come undone. And it only took one lapse in concentration for Ollie Kubalay to punish this visiting Knights side. And unless they spark a miracle comeback here, it will be 11 games against Oakley without a win for Croatia. Sinclair's delivery to the back post. Guest. Sinclair. Back to Joey Guest. Stands it up to the back post, and Connor Hampson wasn't far away. As soon as Joe Guest is on the field, Connor Hampson suddenly popping up for headed chances again. It's no coincidence. Those two have such a great understanding. Brody Boyce. Anywhere will do. Steve White kills the ball dead and starts the Melbourne Knights attack. Wellsmore getting there ahead of Saki, who's really flagging for energy. So much of Melbourne Knights' best attacking play has come through him. Tratz. This is everybody. And another Knights change incoming. It's going to be some late minutes for Jeffrey Leno. Oh, intercepted by Wellsmore, and now Salmon for a third! Alex Salmon has goal number 12 this season. It's a Knights nightmare at the back. And it's all come unstuck for the visitors. Alex Salmon with his second of the afternoon. And there's no doubt about that goal. That one's all his. Oakley Cannons 3, Melbourne Knights 1. And the Cannons will carry some positive momentum into that cup tie against Sydney FC on Tuesday. And the Doherty Cup final to follow. Jack Morton is going to be replaced. He's going to go off on the far side. Jeffrey Leno will come on, and the Knights will throw the kitchen sink at this, but seems very unlikely. Stranger things have happened in the NPL. Carrigan. Sinclair. Mitch Hoare. Onto Bramwell. Cuts it back. Leno! What a miss! Jeffrey Leno with his first touch off the bench, and he splayed it wide. And the Knights should have had a goal back. Deary me. win a corner. Noah Holmes is preparing to come on for Oakley, as well as Max Bassetto, the youngster they've brought in from Western United. Four minutes up on the fourth officials board as Wellsmore. He's full of energy off the bench. Salmon just behind Wellsmore there. Came off his heels. Oakley will have to wait to make that double change. Just to take some seconds off the clock, if anything. And then McGill puts one into space for Salmon, who could be on for a hat-trick here. Still Alex Salmon. The shot lacked purchase and was never beating Chris Oldfield from that sort of angle. Franich. And Ollie Kubelet takes the plaudits of the home crowd as he comes off. It was he who made the crucial breakthrough for 2-1 and put in a lung-busting shift today. Off comes Kingsley Sinclair as well. Max Bassetto and Noah Holmes into the mix for the final few moments of stoppage time. Wendell. Carrigan. Bramwell. Albano volleys it goalwards. It's a simple save for Feely. Wendell's header. Might drop for Bassetto. Carrigan away. Now Noah Holmes. Holmes. Trying to play Salmon wide. Alex Salmon's been just superb today. Full of energy and running and taking up all sorts of creative positions across the front line. And in deep midfield, he's just giving the defenders a run around. Very bright and lively and involved as often as he could be. Mitch Hall, Steve White, McGill onto Guest, who's dissected the Knights' defence and found Hampson, clips it to the back post. Well, that would have been spectacular for Cam McGill, but he couldn't quite adjust his body in time. There's two balls on the pitch here, but play goes on. And Knights player comes dashing off the bench to play ball boy. Boyce. Salmon, well, Guest, punished for pushing off his defender. And there it is, full time at Jack Edwards. And there was an air of inevitability as Oakley closed on this one in the final stages. They leap to third place on the NPL Victoria ladder, level with Hume City on goal difference. The Melbourne Knights now 11 games without a win against the Cannons in all competitions. And Oakley charge on to face Sydney FC on Tuesday and South Melbourne in the Doherty Cup final on Saturday. It was Alex Salmon who opened the scoring in the first half, a deflected free kick that looped in past the helpless Chris Oldfield. Saif Saki created the equaliser, which was turned into his own net by Jordan Hall. It was a superb solo run to tee it up. And it was Ollie Kubalay and his industry in midfield who won the ball high up the park and then burst into the box to make the telling touch at the far post. Another careless Knights turnover cost them dearly as Alex Salmon rolled in his second of the afternoon and goal number 13 in the league this season. The Knights should have had one back by Joffrey Lino in stoppage time, but it matters not. They missed their chance to move into the top 6. Oakley Cannons win the 3 points today, and they're good value for it as well. The final score at Jack Edwards Reserve is Oakley Cannons 3, Melbourne Knights 1.